Hello, everyone. I am going to be interviewing Angela Bourne in a few minutes here. I'm pretty excited. We're going to talk all about Third Eye Theater Ensemble's upcoming productions of Stitch and Witness. I'm just going to accept Angie into the conversation. I'm so excited to be interviewing Angela Bourne. She's
Oh my God, look, Instagram Live.
Yeah, we did it!
We did it again.
Again! This is so great. We tested it and now it's happening.
Yeah, it was really exciting. People joined it, but we forgot that it was a real thing. And then people were there for real things.
Yeah, people were asking me about it and I was like, it's a test. Anyway. Hello, Third Eye.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. I put on makeup for this.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, quarantine.
Lovely day. Oh yeah, quarantine, you know.
Yeah,
I feel like I've worn...
Is actually on wrong because I've forgotten how to do it, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was just about to say, I feel like I put more makeup on in quarantine than usually, like,
yeah,
than when I lived a regular life, but I feel like that's just...
That's actually good. I like that. That's charming.
It's weird.
You look beautiful.
Oh my gosh, you do too.
Thanks.
I'm so excited to educate the audience about the show, and maybe they already know lots of things, and maybe obviously I'm gonna learn a bunch, so I'm super excited to hear from you.
I'm excited to talk about it.
It'll be fun. So again, you are performing in Stitch on October 17th at 7 p.m. virtually. It is a virtual operatic show. Mm-hmm. So please, the first thing I want to know is, can you give like a little brief description of Stitch for the audience? Stitch is by Juliet Palmer, and just let us know, like, just a little bit of like zest of like what it's all about.
First of all, love the usage of zest. That's delightful. Okay, so yes, I have the score as a prop right here.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Look at that. It's beautiful. Yeah,
wow.
So Stitch is by an amazing duo by Juliet Palmer and Anna Chatterton. And they are some of my heroes. The first time I came across this, the score and the libretto, I was like blown away. It's super atmospheric. So that's the first thing you got to know, is that it's like, and I hope neither of them gets mad at me describing it this way, but it's like Lewis Carroll and the Jabberwocky meets opera. So you have, so it takes words that are very much associated with sewing, cross stitch, chain stitch, lock stitch, whip stitch. Then you have like feather stitch, a lot of stitch, stitch. But they start using them where they take on meaning based on context. So it's like this kind of secret language that the audience starts understanding based on the way that it's being said.
Right.
And there's kind of, I think, two levels to that, where you're kind of really getting embedded into the language inside that world, like really super embedded, more than you would if you were actually in the, like, working in a garment workshop. So like overload. And then I also think it's helpful because it is, one of the aspects you'll see in the show is that there's kind of this overseer character that you never see. So it's kind of the big bad, if you will. So in the way that characters kind of interact is that it's kind of like a secret language, so they don't understand what we're saying. So it's like coded. So, but the audience will get it by context, I think.
Very cool. Yes, I did see the show when it was a live show. I saw it last year.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I was so moved by it, and I absolutely loved it. I'm so glad you guys are doing it again.
Yeah, me too.
Virtually. That's something else we will talk about. So how is Third Eye Theater Ensemble going to portray this wonderful show that you guys have already done live? What's the plan for virtual? What is that going to look like for the audience? Just a brief like overview of what.
Yeah, sure. So the best way to put this is that it has been a learning experience. And when we started this, we had literally no idea. We knew we wanted to do it. It was the first time we did it, it went really well. We really enjoyed the process. And so we wanted to put it up in 2020 again and give it more of a full run. But then obviously COVID hit. But what I really liked about this process is that because we've done it before, this group of women, also me, Mary Litz Govertson and Rena Ahmed, have performed together for I think 5 years. So we really know each other's energy on stage. So the process is actually a layer, like a cake. So we in kind of backwards. We recorded all of the music, isolated. That's something actually I'd like to talk about, is that this entire process has been completely away from each other. Like not a single rehearsal together. We have recorded in isolation. We have prepped in isolation. We have staged in isolation. We have done photography in isolation. In isolation with the photographer. We did go meet the photographer, but all of this is based on, I feel like, really strong working relationships and a lot of trust. So the first thing we did is we layered the music. Alexis, who you guys saw earlier on here, she put together some click tracks, and for the works that could have click tracks, there's other ones that definitely are not designed with click tracks in mind. And the ones that were made with click track, my husband, Matt Peckham, put together, layered together, audio engineered, did fancy computer things that I definitely don't understand, did those. And then the ones that were kind of more atmospheric, we kind of layered on top of each other. So we would send our recordings to each other. And then we record with, like I record with Rena singing in my ear, and recorded into the recording device, also known as a microphone.
Oh.
Yeah, and so then we started staging rehearsals, and basically we just figured it out. So everything is inside our houses. We have done it through Zoom. All the Zoom rehearsals have been actually in some ways really healing, because it's been really nice to make theater and art with people who you know and trust, and also have a safe space to like not know what you're doing, but also be able to express what you're feeling about the world, like in like a place that like you don't have to hide that and shove it down for rehearsal, which has been great. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, do you guys want to see where I'll be performing?
Yes, please.
Spoiler alert! Oh,
we must see it.
Also cameo.
Oh, yeah. Are they going to sing the opera as well?
I don't know how to aim. Hold on, wait for it.
This is my pancake. This is Mommy's baby. And this is Waffle. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was exciting. Hey, Instagram. Okay, so the show actually is performed entirely in here.
What?
This is my closet.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so this space that you can see in here, Instagram, this is it. I'm spinning in it. So that's kind of a brief overview.
The whole show is pre-recorded?
No, actually, great question. So the show is half and half. It's a mix of pre-recorded audio and live video. And then there's also some pre-recorded video on top of it, and also some photography that's overlaid. So
got it. A lot of different mediums happening there.
Yes. So it'll all, to the audience, you're going to see it as one thing in our Instagram page. So it's going to look like, wow, there they are. But to the people who are doing tech and the stage manager, shout out Shelby, and Matt, who are doing all the tech stuff, they deserve a lot of hugs and maybe some liquor. So
yeah. Well, that can be arranged. You know, all of that will hopefully happen at the end. Big party, but separately.
Socially distant party.
Big Zoom party.
Yeah.
Party. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for explaining that, because I think that's and I think it's just something you have to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The audience is just gonna have to see it to really feel it. But thank you so much for showing us
the
space. That's wonderful. That gives me and I think the audience a clear idea of what we can expect. So that's very exciting. So in this interpretation of the show, Stitch, you play Calato, which it happens to be one of the three fates, and you spin the thread of life. So my question to you is, what's it like playing a goddess, and how does that backstory inform the rest of your performance? How are you guys interweaving this goddess theme in there?
Yeah, good question. First of all, I am always elated and overjoyed when someone says, Angela, would you like to play a goddess? The answer is unanimously yes. I do like that.
Sure, yes, of course.
Yeah, so the thing is actually, so where we got the idea of the three fates is actually from the very first song. It's actually labeled Three Fates Sweating in the Shop. So you have kind of this idea of the three fates, which are, you've got the one who plays my character, which is the one who plays my character, the one who I'm representing, which is the spinner of life. Then you have the measurer, which is played by Rena Ahmed. And then you have the person who snips the end of life, and that's played by Mary Litz Gubbertson. So we kind of took these three kind of personas in the three fates and kind of applied them into the opera. So my character, as I said, is kind of the spinner of life. I took that to mean a lot of vitality and youth and blossoming. And so I'm going to pause for just a second. It's going to seem like I'm going on a tangent, but I swear I'm going somewhere. We also have been working with Tamsin, who is an amazing photographer, which you will see her stuff. She's a photographer, digital artist. I freaking love her. I had a photo shoot with her. I'm obsessed. Her art's amazing. Anyway, so she had actually asked, she sent an email and said, can you describe your character in the three fates? What are like some symbols that you associate with your character? And I actually am really glad she asked me that, because I really feel like the vision of a flower represents my character. Especially a rose, which I understand sounds cliche, but I don't know what to do about it. That's literally what popped in my brain and I can't fix it.
No, that's fine.
So I really like the idea of my character as kind of representing all what is kind of lost when you are trapped in situations like that, like the beginning of life, and you have a zest, vitality, and you have all this potential and hope, and to perform that while being also like the idea of that I'm spinning everyone else's life while being trapped within my own. And that's kind of an element that you'll see, especially the way that I play the character is kind of really trapped in that space. I hope that the audience will get that I really try to make the four walls obvious.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's my character, how we're putting that on. And then you have Rena's character, which is she's the measure, right? So I feel like her character is very much like, keep your head down, don't cause trouble, just this is what it is, and we're going to do it. And I hope I'm not saying too much for Rena here.
No,
and
okay.
Mary's character, which is the woman who in the Greek fates, the three fates, is the one who snips the end of your life. So she's the one who ends it. She is the revolutionary. She's the one who really wants to bust us out of this situation and try to, unfortunately, not really overly succeed, try and get us out of our situation. So it's kind of these three kind of phases, I feel, of like being trapped inside that industry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That is so, I just thought when I first heard that you guys were the three fates, I was like, how, that is so deep. I feel like that's deeper than what I did not understand. I was like, wait, how does that work? Because I've seen the show.
That's valid.
I don't remember that happening, but like, I'm so glad that like you just explained it so clearly. And also like, what a cool way to interpret such a piece that you explained to me on the phone earlier, that has so many layers.
Yeah.
Like, and why like that, and especially since the first song has, what is the first song called? The Ensemble.
The first song is called Three Fates Sweating in the Shop.
Exactly. So it just makes sense, you know, to have that different interpretation of it, or spin.
It's a spin. Huh.
I did it on purpose.
Everyone's super excited they joined us.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And as we've mentioned, like we've kind of touched on this before, but this is your second time performing this role.
Yeah.
So has anything changed in your interpretation from before to now?
Very much so, actually. So the Greek character that I actually represented completely changed in rehearsal.
Right.
So I mentioned before about how my character kind of represents this like kind of blossoming youth and vitality and all those words that I keep saying like this and moving my chest like this when I talk about it. So previously when I had done the opera, I had actually been playing the character that's Rena's character, the more of the measurer. And it was a lot of based in a lot of our prop and a lot of our nervous tics that we had on stage. So last time we did the show, I was surrounded by fabric tape and measuring tape, and my tic was to measure things around my workstations. And so we were working and staging it in rehearsal this time, and then Rose Freeman, the director, and I kind of had the same moment. I could see it in her eyes. And it was because I was talking about my aria in the piece is a really sensual piece. And it's the last time I played it like it was the beginning of the blossoming, everything else it talked about, but then it ends in kind of like a sexual violent encounter. So it has kind of a trauma element to it. But then this time I was doing it, I just didn't feel, especially with the Greek fate being laid on top of it, I really liked the idea of trying to explore that sexuality more as a good thing, and kind of seeing it as like kind of these, I really want a sense of hope a little bit in this piece, and showing that everyone has hope, and whether or not that hope gets crushed is a different story. But like, people want good things in their lives. So once I was kind of wanting to play the piece as more of a pure, beautiful, sensual sexuality, that's when we realized that I really needed to be associated with youth and vigor and all that stuff. So I actually had to re-record the piece. So I had recorded it before with it in mind that it was a piece that ends violently. And so I had to re-record. I was like, oh, I'll just change part of it. False. Alexis was like, no. And I was like, oh, you're right. Music director. Yes. So yeah, she's very smart. Yeah.
Well, it's hard as performers. It's hard to see like our own selves sometimes. The music director, you know,
that's right.
That's what they're there for. They see outside of us.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. I'm really excited to see. So that is something that is pre-recorded then, your aria.
Yeah, so that's a whole other thing too, is acting to the sound of your own voice is like a whole, so we're performing it live, but we never make a sound. So stripping cutting your performance as a singer in half is a really weird sensation.
Yeah.
So in some ways it's exciting because like I don't have to warm up for opera rehearsal, so that's weird. And like I'll be like shoving pizza in my mouth before I have to sing. When I don't have to sing, it's great. But yeah, it's a different thing. So you kind of have to connect to the sound of your own voice in a different way, which is a little bit of a challenge, actually.
Yeah, what's challenging about that?
Well, especially with this piece, it feels pretty vulnerable to represent sensuality on a tiny screen on your phone in front of other people.
Sure.
Yeah. You're not normally able to see yourself when you're performing, at least in opera. So that's a whole thing, is that like I can see myself on the screen.
That's right.
So it's tempting to look at yourself and be like, what? Like,
is this emoting what I want to emote? Yeah.
Is in my face good? I don't know. So you have to kind of like, so it really feels like you have someone, like, especially the way that I've got it filmed, it feels like someone is watching you while you're in your closet alone. Like, it's kind of this weird, bizarre, like, sensation. So it's so super vulnerable to be acting like this, where you split your voice in half.
Yeah.
I really think it's super freeing too, though, because it lets me play with an aspect of art that I haven't had as much freedom to play with in the past.
Yeah.
So.
That's a big thing. I know Rose and I had talked before about, like, she was big on, like, try and, like, you know, separate the singing from let it more be action led rather than singing. And that's like a whole thing.
What I love.
Profession. Yeah, I know, me too. I thought
really love bringing more theater into opera.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. In case anybody didn't know, Rose is the director for the show.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
For Stitch. And is she also directing?
Yeah, she did too, and it's amazing. It's going to be great.
It's going to be wonderful. Rose is coming up later with an interview, I think, it's the 5th, so I'm really excited to hear that. Okay, so I guess my big question is, why do this show virtually?
That actually has been a thing that I've really enjoyed watching my experience with this grow. So something that I've really loved exploring is, 1, I love this opera. 2, there were some logistical things, right? Like 3 singers a cappella. By the way, folks, this is a cappella with just 3 sewing machines, so that's a big thing.
Yep.
So as far as like logistically speaking, it was an easier show to put on a virtual thing. But also I actually really enjoyed the idea of taking it virtually because it really drives home the personal aspect of this. And what I mean by that is that we're telling stories of sweatshop workers, right? When you're in a black box theater, which is how we've done it before, it becomes a little bit more, it is what it is in that you're performing a piece. And yes, you're connecting with it, but it's a whole new ballgame when you're performing it in your closet, surrounded by clothes that have probably been made in sweatshops. Like, that's a whole new world. Like, as far as like ethically shopping, I've been I would say I've been aware of it. Like, I'd like to do a lot of my shopping at secondhand stores. 1, because it caters to my weird sense of what can I find fashion-wise, but also it's a more affordable way to shop in a way that is recycling clothes rather than trying to contribute to fast fashion. But regardless, all of these items that are in my closet have started from somewhere. So it's just kind of made me aware of the stories that touch every single item in my closet. And I find it actually really powerful to do it inside our homes because it's bringing those stories to light inside our homes that already exist there. So these stories are in our homes that we don't know, but we just don't know about it because when we look at an object, it's an impersonal object. It doesn't have, we don't think about the stories of like who touched the material that was made, how was it made, what country did it come from, who was the distributor, who was the supplier, like
what were the conditions under
what were the conditions, yeah, like what were the conditions, how much were they paid, how many hours did they work in a day. So it really takes an object and all of a sudden it like one piece of clothing, you are looking at a huge length of time and a lot of different lives that have touched it. And so I actually find it really powerful to put it inside our homes because it brings it makes it personal.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can't even imagine. Yeah, I can't even imagine like having a show that is speaking about something that we wear every day and everyone wears. I mean,
exactly.
Like a nudist colony, I guess, but
yeah, exactly. Everyone clothes.
Yeah, in general, most
people. That's true.
Clothes.
Everyone.
Yeah.
People who don't wear clothes, but
right.
They probably touch fabric of some sort.
Yeah, and it's just, I think it's a really important thing that not necessarily everyone's aware of either. Like I only know some of the stories of fast fashion from my degree, actually, from going to school. I learned a lot about injustices that happen in like the big companies because they pay so little in foreign countries, and it's just, it's really awful. So it's really nice that I think it's really cool is not the right word. I think it's really important that the story is being told and that people can learn about it if they have never even really knew about that before, because some people might not even know what's going on.
It's not something to think about.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really important that you guys are able to do this at a time like this too. And on that note, like overall, what are you hoping the audience takes away from the show? You kind of mentioned it a little bit, but I just didn't know if you had like any final thoughts about what you hope that people will take away.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that a couple things, one of which is kind of what I was talking about before, is that just a little bit more awareness and maybe a little bit more consciousness on where we shop, kind of voting with your dollar, if you will. And in small ways, I speak with absolute humility. I am learning myself.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no.
So this isn't me coming from a position of being like, oh yeah, I'm really great at ethical shopping. But I've been getting better. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. But another thing, a little bit more on the operatic side of things, I really am hopeful that people see what we're doing for the show as almost a new genre. So something that I have found that I've really struggled with post-COVID is that it's hard for me to think about doing a regular performance, even if it's like staged virtually, and then we stream it like a normal performance, or like streaming a past performance. That feels sad to me, and that's not to discourage or discount what other companies or groups are doing. I have immense respect for what people are doing right now of any sort. But for me, it feels sad to me, and that it feels less good than the real thing, which is something I struggled with. Is like, I don't want to do that. Is how I have felt. But this is totally different. I've been energized by this performance because it feels brand new. We've got photography, we've got video overlaying it, we've got like all these audio effects that we can play with that you can't play with in performance. You can like manipulate the sound in a really cool way. So I actually hope that people are able to see this operatic format expand, like a new genre, new genre with inside opera. Because honest to goodness, it feels completely different. And I'm like, it feels like opera meets music video. Like,
I am so excited. I'm obsessed with music videos. I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm also obsessed. I love opera and I love music videos.
Yeah, look at that. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna
I hope so.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. No, it sounds like something new. Exactly what you just said, a new genre. Why not? This is the time. This is the time for new things. Innovation, creativity.
Yeah. Kind of finding and sorry to interrupt. I feel like following where your creative spark kind of goes. Like, I feel like if something feels heavy, you might need a break from it, or something may not be the right time for you. I've gotten super like hippy dippy in quarantine, like just really, it's been a lot of fun. Anyway,
all changed.
Yeah, like I just really like, I'm brewing my own kombucha. Like, we're having a grand old time.
We're all different people at this point. Nobody's the same.
Nope,
Everybody.
Exactly.
I feel very strongly that everybody will come out of COVID a different person. Like,
yeah, I'm pumped. I can't wait to meet all my new friends, my new old But yeah, so to circle back to before I went on that tangent, finding ways to like follow what feels exciting and what feels like that artistic spark, I feel like is leading us in interesting places and not being stuck by what has been done or what's the proper way to do things. There is no proper way to do things.
Yeah.
Pardon my language, but like who the hell knows what's going on right now? No one. So might as well make some weird art and have a blast. So here we go.
Yeah, that's why I love that you guys, it sounds like you're taking a lot of different risks. It's not like all recorded, it's like live and recorded. And
yeah. I mean, regularly in rehearsal, we're like, is this going to work? We don't know. And then after every rehearsal, it gets better and better to closer and closer to being like, yeah, oh my gosh, this is actually going to work.
Yeah. Before we close out, I just want to see if anyone watching may have a question for Angela. Yeah. Yeah.
Even if it's you want to see my cats.
Oh, yes, of course. The cats. If you want to see the cats, that's definitely something we can do. But if anyone is watching right now, well, there are people watching.
That's exciting.
If someone is watching and they have a question about Stitch, or even maybe if you wanted to, if someone had a question about Witness that you might be able to answer.
I've seen Witness before, so I've not seen the new staged version, but I've heard the album. I've heard the album that they're working on. Also, I've attended the first show that Alexis did, and it's wicked cool. So I can attempt to answer that from an outside perspective.
Awesome. Well, we do have one question from J. Kells here, J. Kells 16. The question is, can you sing your cat a song?
The answer that I am going to give you is yes. So,
oh my gosh, we would love that.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to use them as props just a second.
Okay.
Okay, this is exciting to me, Instagram. I've never done this before.
Oh, Instagram.
I've sung to my cat before, but I've not done Instagram Live. Disney laugh out. Okay, so here's how the song goes. I can really see him, so I'm going to like scoop him. Okay, hold on. Wait, hold please.
Oh yeah, everyone is on the edge. I'm like actually so excited.
Okay, here we go. Okay, there's Pancake over there, so I reference both of them in the song. So, here we go.
Okay.
This is my pancake. This is my waffle. These are my breakfast boys. They meow, 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 and they purr, purr, meow, 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 purr, and meow, purr, meow. These are my breakfast babies. These are my breakfast boys. Meow.
Oh my goodness. And on that note, we've had a wonderful interview. Thank you. This is the perfect way to end. Thank you so much.
Stitch and Witness.
Thank you so much for joining me for this wonderful interview, Angela. Please come and see Stitch and Witness on Saturday, October 17th at 7 p.m. You can get your tickets in our bio on Instagram or in our bio on Facebook. We're also posting all the time the link to get tickets. The tickets are free, but of course, please donate. All the arts are, all the arts are, having a little bit of a tough time right now. Yeah, a little bit of our time. So we suggest a $10 donation, but whatever you can give at this time is obviously more than okay. We're more than excited.
Yeah.
So yes, please get tickets to the show. It's going to be a new, wonderful experience for all, and I hope to see everyone there.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Evita. Thank you all for joining.
Yes, thank you all for joining. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
How do I sign off? I don't know. Bye.